Dear students, in today's session we are going to discuss about solubility. Yes, students, you know that. So it is the amount of solute that is dissolved in a given solution. So generally it is nothing but how much amount of solute is dissolved in the given solution. So how to define means the solubility of a substance is its maximum amount that can be dissolved in a specified amount of solvent at specified temperature. So dear students, while defining solubility, I am mentioning temperature. Remember that this solubility is going to changes. This solubility is going to vary or change with the temperature. That's why I am mentioning at specified temperature. So I am repeating, the solubility of a substance is its maximum amount that can be dissolved in a specified amount of solvent at specified temperature. So this solubility mainly depends upon three factors. So what are those factors means? The first factor is nature of solute and solvent, second one is temperature, and third one is pressure. Okay, so solubility of a substance mainly depends upon three things. It depends upon three factors. First one is nature of solute and solvent, second one is temperature, and the third one is pressure. So let us write, solubility of a substance is its maximum amount that can be dissolved in a specified amount of solvent at specified temperature. So this is the definition of solubility. So let us discuss the factors affecting solubility of a substance. Next one is factors affecting solubility. So I have already told you. So the factors on which solubility depends, are the factors on which are going to affect our solubility is nature of solute and solvent, temperature, and third one is pressure. So these are important factors that is going to affect on solubility of a substance. So now we will discuss solubility of a solid in liquid. Next we will discuss solubility of a solid in liquid. Yes, so solubility of solid in liquid, it means it is a liquid solution. It is a liquid solution in which solute is a solid and solvent is in the liquid form. Okay, so let us discuss about the solubility of solid in liquid. So when we dissolve some solid into a liquid, some of the solid is going to dissolve into the water or liquid, hence its concentration in the solution increases. When we dissolve some solid into liquid, so some of the solute is going to dissolve. As a result, its concentration in the solution increases. The process is called dissolution. The process is called dissolution. Okay. So again, solute particles present in the solution, solute particles which are already dissolved. So solute particles present in the solution collide with solid solute particles and hence get separated out of solution. The process is called crystallization. Okay. So in one case what is happening? Dissolution is going to occur. In another case what is happening? Crystallization is going to take place. Okay. So now a stage will reach in the solution, a stage will reach where the number of solute particles undergoing into solution will be equal to the number of solute particles separating out from the solution. Means a stage will reach where this dissolution and crystallization will be in equal amounts. That stage itself is called a dynamic equilibrium is going to exist in the solution. A dynamic equilibrium is going to achieve in the solution. Okay. So at this stage, after reaching that dynamic equilibrium, so now the concentration of solute remains constant. It means to say that no more solute is going to dissolve in such solutions at a given temperature and pressure. It means the equilibrium has reached. Now no more solute is going to dissolve in such solutions at a given temperature and pressure. Okay. So let me tell you what is this dissolution and crystallization. When a solid solute dissolved in a liquid, its concentration increases. In the solution. The process is called dissolution. So this is about dissolution. Coming to some solute particles from solution, collide with solid solute particles and get separated out from solution. The process is called crystallization. So now in our solution, crystallization and dissolution. So a stage will reach where both process dissolution and crystallization is going to occur at the same rate. The stage itself is called a dynamic equilibrium. A dynamic equilibrium is reached between solute solvent and solution. Hence a equilibrium is reached in the solution. That can be written like this: solute plus solvent. So there exists an equilibrium between these and solution. So we can write like this: for this dynamic equilibrium we can write a reversible reaction like this: solute plus solvent gives rise to solution. By writing this, we have indicated that the solution has reached the equilibrium now. Now there is no change in the concentration. There is no change in the concentration of solute at constant temperature. So at this stage, concentration of solute remains constant. Concentration of solute remains constant. It means it is not going to change at a given temperature and pressure. At a given temperature and pressure. So finally in this solution an equilibrium state has reached. Hence now the concentration of solute is not going to change. Concentration of solute in the solution is not going to change at a given temperature and pressure. So dear student, after reaching the equilibrium, what happens? The solution thus formed is called a saturated solution. So finally what happens now? In this saturated solution, this equilibrium is going to exist. So what is a saturated solution means? A solution in which no more solute is dissolved. A solution in which no more solute is dissolved at a given temperature is called a saturated solution. A solution in which no more solute can be dissolved at a given temperature is called a saturated solution. Similarly, unsaturated solution means a solution in which some more solute can be dissolved at a given temperature is called a unsaturated solution. So let us see the definition of saturated solution. Saturated solution: a solution in which no more solute is dissolved. A solution in which no more solute is dissolved at a given temperature is called saturated solution. Next one is unsaturated solution. So here in a saturated solution no more solute is going to dissolve because it is already saturated. So in this solution already dissolution becomes equal to crystallization. Hence no more solute or solute concentration is not going to change. Okay, even if it dissolve more and more, so what happens? The solute particles will remain as it is. The solute particles will remain as it is. Further the crystallization is going to occur after the equilibrium. So what is unsaturated solution means? A solution in which some more solute can be dissolved. A solution in which some more solute can be dissolved. Some more solute can be dissolved. Some more solute can be dissolved at a given temperature. At a given temperature. So this is about saturated and unsaturated solutions. Hope it is clear. It is very simple. The solution topic itself is very simple and even important for examination. Okay. So next, let us discuss the factors affecting solubility of a solid in liquid solution. I have already told you mainly 3 factors are there: nature of solute and solvent, temperature and pressure. Let us see how these factors are going to affect on solubility of solid in liquid solutions. Yes. So there are 3 factors: nature of solute and solvent, temperature and pressure. Let us discuss these factors one by one. So nature of solute and solvent means whether they are polar or non-polar we are going to describe. Okay, even in a solid state topic I have told you what is polar and non-polar. So a very simple concept is like dissolves like. Like dissolves like means polar solute dissolves, polar solute dissolved in polar solvents, and non-polar solute dissolves in non-polar solvents. Polar solute in polar solvents and non-polar solutes in non-polar solvents, hence like dissolves like we may call it. So that is the nature of solute and solvent. Coming to temperature. In order to discuss the effect of temperature, in order to describe the effect of temperature, first we should know whether the dissolution or the solubility of a given substance is a endothermic reaction or exothermic reaction. Dear students, a reaction in which heat energy is released, a reaction in which heat energy is evolved. So some reactions will be there in which after that reaction the system becomes hot because some heat energy is released. Such reactions are exothermic reaction. So similarly, solubility of certain substance in a solvent, sometimes they are exothermic and sometimes they are endothermic in nature. So endothermic means, so reactions are systems in which heat energy is absorbed. Some heat energy is absorbed. So such a reactions are called endothermic reaction. Now we have to see whether the dissolution or solubility of our substance in solvent is exothermic or it is endothermic. So on the basis of that we can define or we can describe the effect of temperature on solubility. Okay. So now suppose the solubility of solute, the solubility of a substance is endothermic process. If it is endothermic process, then solubility increases with increase in temperature. Solubility increases with increase in temperature. Suppose if the solubility of a substance in a solution is exothermic process, if it is exothermic process, then the solubility decreases. Solubility decreases with increase in temperature. So we have to remember 2 things here. If the process is endothermic, then solubility increases with increase in temperature. If the solubility of a substance is exothermic process, then solubility decreases with increase in temperature. Solubility decreases with increase in temperature. So that is about the effect of temperature. Coming to effect of pressure. So dear students, so pressure has no significant effect because here solid and liquid we are considering. Both solid and liquid are incompressible. So they are incompressible compared to gaseous state, they are incompressible. Hence pressure has no significant effect on the solubility of solid in liquid, as the solid and liquid are incompressible in nature. So this is about the factors affecting on solubility of solid in liquid type of solution. Let us write down nature of solute and solvent. First one, nature of solute and solvent. Nature of solute and solvent. Polar solute dissolve in polar solvents and non-polar solutes non-polar solute dissolve in non-polar solvent. Hence we say like dissolves like. Like dissolves like. So simple one. Second one, temperature, effect of temperature. Effect of temperature. For endothermic process, for endothermic process, solubility increases, solubility increases, solubility increases with increase in temperature. For exothermic process, solubility decreases, solubility decreases with increase in temperature. With increase in temperature. And the third factor, pressure. Pressure has no significant effect. Pressure has no significant effect on solubility of solid in liquid, solubility of solid in liquid, because solids and liquids are incompressible. incompressible. So because of the incompressibility of solid and liquid, hence pressure has no effect on the solubility of solid in liquid. So this is about the factors which are important for examination. The next concept is solubility of gas in liquid. So we have discussed, till now we have discussed solubility of solid in liquid. Now we will discuss the solubility of gas in liquid. So I have already told you, so there are three factors which are going to affect the solubility. So in that we will discuss effect of pressure first here. So dear students, when we were talking about effect of pressure in case of solid in liquid type of solutions, I have told you, so pressure has no significant effect on the solubility of solid in liquids, because solid and liquid both are incompressible. But when gas is dissolved in liquid, dear students, remember, gases are highly compressible. They are highly compressible, hence they are greatly affected by the pressure. They are greatly affected by the pressure. So let us know what happens, or what is the effect of pressure on the dissolution of gas in liquid. So dear students, with increase in pressure, so number of gaseous particles per unit volume of solution will also increase. Okay, so suppose if we are dissolving some gas, into liquid, so consider this one. So I have taken a liquid. Okay, so in that let us say we are dissolving a gas. So CO2 can be dissolved, even oxygen can be dissolved in water. So let us to this vessel, let us fix a movable piston, so that we can apply pressure. So dear students, you see here, so after dissolving, what happens, some of the gas molecules will come into the solution. As a result, the solubility will increase. Suppose if you apply more and more pressure, what may happen here? So if you apply more and more pressure, more and more gas molecules will come into solution. More and more molecules will come into the solution. As a result, the solubility of gas in liquid increases. Okay, so now that's why I told you, with increase in pressure, number of gaseous molecules per unit volume of surface will also increase, hence the solubility of gas in liquid increases. Okay, so with increase in pressure, so number of gas molecules coming into the solution, or number of gas molecules present in unit volume of solution above the surface of solution increases, hence solubility increases. Okay, so let us write the solubility of gas in liquid increases with increase in pressure. So if you increase the pressure, then the solubility of gas in liquid also increases. So this is because with increase in pressure, number of gaseous molecules per unit volume of solution per unit volume of solution per unit volume, number of gaseous molecules per unit volume over the solution increases. So indirectly, with increase in pressure, the number of gaseous molecules will come into the solution. As a result, in every per unit volume, the number of gaseous molecules becomes more. In other words, the concentration of gas in the solution increases. So that is what solubility of gas in liquid increases, that we can understand. So now you see here, so it is clearly indicated that the solubility of gas and pressure, they are related directly. Solubility of gas increases when pressure increases, they are directly proportional. So for the first time, the relationship, quantitative relationship between effect of pressure and solubility of gas in liquid is given by scientist Henry, and that mathematical quantitative relationship between pressure and solubility of gas is called Henry's law. So dear students, this Henry law is very, very important for sake of PU examination as well as CET part. Okay, so let us discuss Henry's law, which is a very beautiful and very important law for sake of exam. Okay, so this law is about the effect of pressure on the solubility of gas in solution. Dear students, already you have seen, if we increase the pressure of the gas present above the surface of the solution, then more and more gas molecules will come into solution. As a result, solubility increases. If you increase the pressure of the gas, then the solubility also increases. So that is what we are going to define this one in the form of law, that is called Henry's law. So the law states that, it is very important. So the law states that at constant temperature, we should not vary the temperature because the solubility is going to affect with the temperature. So at constant temperature, the solubility of gas in a liquid is directly proportional to partial pressure of the gas present above the surface of the solution. So while dissolving a gas into the liquid, what happens? Some of the gas molecules are present above the surface of the solution. If we increase the partial pressure means pressure exerted by the individual gas. So when a mixture of gases are there, we use the term pressure. When a single gas like CO2 or oxygen we are dissolving, then we say partial pressure. Okay, so now let me state the law one more time. At constant temperature, the solubility of a gas in a liquid is directly proportional to partial pressure of the gas present above the surface of the solution. So this is called Henry's law. So let me write. The law states that at constant temperature, the solubility of a gas in a liquid is directly proportional to partial pressure of gas present above the surface of solution, present above the surface of solution. So this is one definition of our Henry's law. So dear students, this solubility is nothing but concentration of solution, and we have large number of units for representing concentration of solutions. Among them, one of the unit is mole fraction. You might have heard about mole fraction in my previous classes. Okay, so suppose for solubility let us take mole fraction, and let us have the partial pressure of the gas as it is. So now once again, if you go through this law, you will come to know there is a direct relationship between partial pressure of the gas and solubility. Means take mole fraction, take the unit of solubility as mole fraction, then mole fraction of the gas and partial pressure of the gas both are directly related. We can conclude from the above statement. So that's why Henry's law can also be stated as, Henry's law can also be defined as the partial pressure of the gas in vapor phase. The gas which is present above the surface of the solution, that is in vapor phase. The partial pressure of the gas in vapor phase is proportional to mole fraction of the gas, mole fraction of the gas present in the solution. In a very simple way, Henry's law can also be stated as, Henry's law can also be defined as, the partial pressure of the gas in vapor phase is proportional to mole fraction of the gas, in the solution, mole fraction of the gas in the solution. So let me write the law. The partial pressure of the gas in vapor phase, say it is capital P. Partial pressure of the gas in vapor phase is proportional to mole fraction of the gas, mole fraction of the gas can be written as small x present in the solution, So this is the alternate way how can we define Henry's law. So second statement, if you remember, you will be able to write down the mathematical relationship between partial pressure of the gas and mole fraction of the gas. Okay, sometime for 2 marks you will be asked in the examination, state Henry's law and write the mathematical expression for the law. Okay, so mathematical expression is very simple. So see here, the partial pressure of the gas in vapor phase, that is P is proportional to mole fraction of the gas, that is X. Okay, so now to remove this proportionality constant, P is equal to some kh into x, So this is the mathematical expression of Henry's law. Mathematical expression of Henry's law is given by P is equal to some kh into x. So dear students, already you know what is this P and x, because it is there. P is the partial pressure of the gas and x is the mole fraction of the gas in the solution. So what is this kh means? So this kh is where KH is called Henry's law constant. So this KH is called Henry's law constant. Henry's law constant. So there is a significance for this KH value of gases. We will see it later. What is the significance? So now if you observe, so there is a relationship between partial pressure of the gas and mole fraction of the gas. So if you take HCl gas and draw the graph for its partial pressure and mole fraction, you will get the graph like this. Mole fraction of HCl in cyclohexane. So here partial pressure of HCl, it is in torr. Torr is the unit of pressure. So if you take the graph, you will get the graph like this. Okay. So this graph gives the better understanding of Henry's law. See here what happens. I have taken mole fraction of HCl along x-axis and partial pressure of HCl along the y-axis. So they are directly proportional because we are getting a straight line that indicate they are directly proportional. So now coming to what is the significance of this Henry's law constant. Henry's law constant. Yes, it is important for the examination also. Henry's law constant KH value, it will be fixed for a given gas at a given temperature. Okay, so every gas has a Henry's law constant KH value at a particular temperature. That is important. What is the importance means? The KH value, so larger the KH value of a gas or higher the KH value of a gas, lower is its solubility in the liquids. Larger the or higher the KH value of a gas, lower is its solubility in the liquid, or lower is its solubility in the solution, we can say. In short, I can say the KH value of a gas is inversely proportional to solubility of a gas. Solubility of a gas means if a gas has higher value, higher KH value, then its solubility in the solution will be less. Or if a gas is having lower value of KH, then such gases are more soluble in the solution. More soluble in the solution. So let us write significance of Henry's law constant. Significance. It is important. Significance of Henry's law constant. Significance of Henry's law constant, that is given by KH. KH. That is given by KH. Okay. Larger the value of KH for a gas, larger the value of KH for a gas at a given temperature, lower is its solubility. Lower is its solubility in the solution. Lower is its solubility in the solution. It means KH value of a gas, it is inversely proportional. Inversely proportional to what? Solubility of gas. Now you can easily understand this one. If a gas is having a larger KH value, then its solubility will be less. If a gas has lower value of KH, then its solubility will be more. So in PU examination, even for 1 mark, it has been asked 2 gases along with their KH values will be given. Say nitrogen and helium are having certain particular KH values at a constant temperature, then he will ask which gas is more soluble in the liquid or which gas is less soluble in the solution. Such type of questions may appear even in CET also. So finally, this Henry's law is important one for PUC as well as for CET examination also.